Peace, love, and divine light. I hope the sun is shining wherever you are and you are living in your greatest purpose. Thank you for all your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Thank you to all who continue to join the lives, those who book personal readings, all the channel members, new subscribers. I actually have, sorry, I'm like trying to get myself together here. All right, so I have a couple of different things that I wanted to and I want to talk to y'all about. I'm just gonna leave it, honestly, I'm just gonna leave it up to spirit and just, see what they want me to talk about. But before coming on here, what I was receiving a message about was healing. Okay. Hey, Scorpio Chiffon, member in the house. Hey. How are y'all? All right. So I was receiving a message about healing. Okay. Healing, progressing, so on and so forth. And I'm not quite sure where this is supposed to go. Perhaps this is about you, the healing that you're going through. Hey y'all, welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. All right, y'all, make sure you thumbs up the video. All right, so this is about, is that the direction we want to go? Okay. See, I wasn't getting that I'm supposed to be getting cards, but I was getting different things, okay? Different things about some of you being healers, okay? I was receiving something about that. Some of you being healers. Actually, I received this message since even before doing my meditation today. I was getting a message about you being a healer or having healing energy, you going through your healing journey. So it may be one of those things. I was receiving information about also specific spirit guides that walk with you, that are very powerful healing energies within themselves. So I want to start off by saying that healing, okay, healing is a gift, okay, healing is a gift, and many of you have that gift of healing. And at this time, I feel like it is becoming a lot more important. Not that it wasn't important before. It's becoming even more important. I'm feeling like for many of you who are healers to know that you are a healer. Okay. It's like your spirit guides need you to know this. Okay. If you kind of had a hint that you were a healer, you had healing powers, perhaps there was your ancestors in your bloodline had the gift of healing. Okay. I could be talking to somebody like that, where you had a great grandmother or a grandmother or even a mother. Okay. Or a father or great grandfather, someone in your bloodline had that gift. Okay. Someone in your bloodline had that gift, and healing, okay, that energy of healing is in you. Now, whoever that ancestor is, all right, whoever the person that is connected to you, that is in your bloodline, that had this gift, just know that it wasn't passed on to everybody. All right. It wasn't passed on to everybody. And that healing gift for many of you, it's like you've inherited because also because of your spiritual gifts, right? Like healing is a spiritual gift, and I'm just getting like there's something tied to that healing energy that you have that's tied to your spirituality. Okay, just bear with me here. And for many of you, this will make sense because you're like, oh, okay, well, this makes sense because the more I started connecting with the spirit within, the more I also started tapping into who I am spiritually. Okay, because and you know, this, it's something that you've known for quite some time. You've known this for quite some time, either by way of, okay, you know that whoever's in your bloodline had this gift and you intuitively felt like you were a healer. Okay, this is how you know you are a healer. This is how you know you are a healer. All right. Aside from the fact that it is something that's in your bloodline, that's in your family, that perhaps you've inherited, it's a gift. There are certain traits and qualities, you know, that you have as, you know, a person as well. And I'm going to, you know, talk about a couple of different ones. All right. Let me just make sure. I want to make sure I stay on track here. And maybe that'll give people a chance to come in. And as you're coming in, let me know where you're tuning in from. Okay, so one of the things that I'm getting for those of you who are healers, and I'm talking about like like truly have the gift of healing or wanting to heal others. Like you have a passion for it. It's something that's passed down through your family line. That's one thing. There's a personal trait as well. You know, like it takes a certain characteristic to be a healer. And, you know, honestly, like, who am I to say? Because there's different types of people out there, right? Yet intuitively, I know what a healer looks like. So I'm speaking from a personal perspective as well, because I am also a healer. Okay, I know this. I know this is part of who I am. This is the energy that I've always had. Like I've always been that kind of person that wants to, you know, make sure that people get better. Okay, like genuinely want to see people get better. Get better, be better. Be the highest version of themselves. Like I've always been this kind of person that's like, I believe that people can empower themselves. All right. Like I'm one of those people that's like, instead of giving you the fishes, I'm going to teach you how to fish because I want you to be empowered. Like that's the kind of person I am. I want you to know your power. I want you to be in tune and in touch with your power. Like it makes no sense for me to give you breadcrumbs when you literally can manifest your own, like, you know, loaf of bread, or you can, you know, create your own loaf of bread. That's just the kind of person I've always been. All right. And so being someone who knows that I am a healer, I can tell you some of the things, you know, and I'm speaking from a personal perspective, and hopefully it will resonate with someone out there that like, okay, that can say, yeah, that's who I am as well. My father was a healer. Okay. My father was a healer. He had the gift of healing. He is instill, and I'm speaking in present tense because, like, you know, my father is no longer in this physical realm, okay? Yet that energy, his energy is still present, okay? My father was the kind of person that was able to literally, you know, and many of you may know I come from IT, okay? I was born in IT and I was raised part of, you know, my life there. He was the kind of person that when someone was ill, like they would call him And he had the gift with his hand. He had healing hands. He would lay hands on people. They would call him, and he was able to lay hands on people and heal them. And people from various parts of, like, various towns would call him just for that. Now, he went through a phase, where it's like, he went deep into the Christianity, and I also believe like he lost touch with a lot of that stuff, a lot of, that gift that he has. Yet, I also believe that that gift that was in him was what gave him the power to continually fight, when he was being attacked spiritually and physically. Now, with that being said, I want you to know that as a healer, this is important that you know this. As a healer, there are people that did not want you to uncover your gift of healing. And there are people that still do not want you to be in that power. Because as a healer, you have like superb capabilities. You have, some extraordinary gifts that's tied to this healing. All right. Because healing is an energy. Okay. Healing is an energy. And anyone who is around a healer, if you've ever been around a healer, you feel it. You feel their energy. Have you ever just been next to someone that exude a certain presence, and you don't know what it is quite about them that makes you feel this way, yet you know that there's like a spiritual aspect of this person that is literally, it's like your spirit is attracted to that. All right. So know that if you're a healer, there are people that do not want you to be in that power, that do not want you to, to be in that power, because for different reasons, because it is powerful. The gift of healing is powerful. Okay. Because your healing, whatever it is whatever energy you have, that spirit that walks with you, that allows you, that enables you to heal, that spirit is powerful. Okay. In our culture, okay, in Vodun, we have a lot of different lois and entities that that walk with us. Okay. When we have that gift of healing, it's the energies that walk with us that allow us to, or I'm trying to see if I can use the right word. Sometimes y'all, I feel like English is so limited in terms of how, I want to describe things. Like, I wish I could speak Haitian with y'all and I could be like, but okay, I'm just going to say what I got to say. But yeah, so we have really powerful spirit guides, okay, the Loa, that help us to heal, okay? And I'm gonna just say just a few of them. We have Dambala and Aidawedo, okay? These are powerful healing energies. The Simbis, okay? We have so many different entities. We have the water deities. The water deities are healing deities. Okay? These are powerful energies that allow us to exercise that gift of healing. So a lot of people are not gonna, I don't want to say they're not gonna like you. They may feel a certain type of way, about this gift that you have. Excuse me, but just know that, and just know that the gift that you have is not small. All right. It's not small. And especially for right now, if you are a healer and you know that you are a healer, it is time, all right, that you stand and you walk in that power, okay, that gift of healing that you have. If you didn't hear this before, know that it's not small. And if you know that you've been a healer, And I'm talking about the real ones. I'm not talking about necessarily, someone that got a certificate somewhere, that say that, okay, they're Dr. So and so. Okay? Because I truly believe that having a piece of paper that says that you can do this and you can do that does not qualify you to, as a healer. Okay? Just because you a MD, a PhD, a whatever D, that you have in your credentials, it doesn't qualify you to be a healer. In fact, we know that a lot of folks, they get these degrees, not because they want to heal people, because they want to contribute to that same system that's causing the downfall. You have people who are, getting these credentials for dollars, not really to help people. So, and this is the other way around too. So just because you have those credentials don't mean that you're a healer. And it's the other way around too. Just because you don't have the credentials behind your name does not mean that you're not a healer. Some of the greatest healers I know out there, okay, they're not allowed to exercise those gifts because those who are doing it for the dollar know that they will get exposed by the real ones. And I'm speaking to the real ones out there, the real healers, the ones that know that they have this gift of healing that is first and foremost that you had to recognize in yourself because you went through your healing journey. I'm speaking to those people. And you can't be talking about you a healer and you haven't gone through your healing journey. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Like, you could be in the process of uncovering that you are a healer, okay? But, and I will say that as a healer, okay, as a healer, you yourself, okay? You yourself had to go through your journey because there are things that you are meant to teach others through your healing journey. That unless you went through those things, there's no way that you would uncover them. Okay? There's no way that you would uncover your healing gifts if you didn't go through your healing journey. So this is for many of you who know that you're a healer, okay? And you don't have the credentials behind your name that says that you are a healer. Your credentials have already been given to you by your spirit guides, okay? Your credentials were given to you by your spirit guides. Society cannot give you your credentials as a healer because you're dealing with societies that are corrupt, that are all about the dollar. Okay, so going back to those folks that have the D's behind their name, those credentials, a lot of them are not fit. They're not qualified to be healers. All right, hold on one second. The show must go on. Oh God. Okay, let me not say the show. Okay. Yeah, they putting on a show right now. Okay. And a lot of those folks with those credentials have been doing just that. They've been putting on a show for quite some time. Thank you, Spirit. Yeah, they've been putting on a show for quite some time. A show that they didn't want the chosen, who are the real healers of today, okay? Who are the real healers of today. Them fake ones didn't want the real healers of today to truly know that they're the ones that are meant to be, helping people. Like, can you imagine? It's like you have a society that dictates whether or not you can practice your healing gift based on whether or not you went through their schools, based on whether or not you got your credentials through them. The very people that don't give up about people, they want to dictate. Okay, really think about that. You have a society that makes people go through these rituals, which are really their rituals. They make you go through their rituals to be indoctrinated into their system, and then they deem you fit as to whether or not you are a healer or not. And so many of you who are healers have bought into this okie doke that you can't heal people because, oh, you don't have the credentials. And I get it, because the society makes it that way. They make it so that, they can exercise, they can, like, put certain stipulations on you if you practice your art without their approval. So they make it so that you have to get their approval in order for you to exercise your spiritual gift. You are a healer. That is a gift that is given to you by spirit. It is not given to you by man. It is not given to you by these societies that so-called indoctrinate people into their, their death care. That's what I'm hearing. Because their rituals, whatever piece of paper they give you, it's to indoctrinate you. It's to indoctrinate you into death care. Forget that life care stuff. Forget the health care stuff. They make you get that piece of paper to indoctrinate you into their death care practices, because these are societies that honor and value death, not life. They don't value life. So as a healer, your spirit guides are wanting you to be in your power at this time. Be in your power and know that your gift is one that comes from spirit. It didn't come from man. Okay? It didn't come from man, and it is a gift. It is a gift. It is a gift that not a lot of people have. Your gift of healing is something that a lot of people wish they would have at this time, because you have a lot of folks who are literally mentally ill. You have a lot of folks who are physically ill and spiritually ill, and they are in need of the care that you can provide as one who is chosen to give, okay? To give care and nurture. So don't play small on that gift of healing that you have. Many of you have the knowledge of leaves, okay? Like it's something that comes to you very easily, or you have a passion for it. You are someone that, that is constantly always trying to figure out what leaf is this, because your gift is one that was given to you by nature. Okay, by Mother Nature. Okay, Mother Nature gave you your gifts. Okay, there's something about leaves for many of you who are healers. You could be attracted to leaves. Okay, you're someone who's more willing to, seek the help of nature before you pop a pill, because why? You know that the origin of those pills came from nature. So you honor nature that way. This is, these are all things that make you a healer. I had a list here that I'm like, I could have easily gone down the list and start looking at my list of stuff, and this is how it's coming. Okay, you may be someone who you have a high respect and regard for leaves. All right, whether it is that you garden, whether it is, you're always researching what this leaf can do, okay? Like, your spirit guides want you to augment that knowledge. Okay? It is not by, just happenstance that you happen to have the passion and desire to learn about leaves. Okay? To learn about how to heal through nature. So this is one of the ways that you know that you are a healer. And I know that I'm just going back and forth, so I'm just gonna go just how I'm being led to do this. Your healing journey, I know I touched on this before. Your healing journey for many of you is a major part of you coming into your power as a healer. There's a lot of ish that you went through in your life that you had to go through them. Because healing is not just an aspect of knowing the leaves to use to treat X, Y, and Z. Healing is about energy. Okay? And you had to understand how to heal yourself, because There was an energy in you that needed to be healed. And so unless that energy was healed, there was a lot of knowledge that your spirit guides, your ancestors, they couldn't impart on you. They couldn't give you, because it's like whatever energy you needed to heal, they were blocking that information. They were blocking that knowledge. So part of your healing journey was to heal an energy of blockage that was imposed upon you as a healer. Because the very system, okay, that indoctrinates these fake ass, excuse the French, healers that are out there. And yes, I'm calling them fake because y'all know y'all just about the dollar. Okay. And I'm going to say that there are some of those folks that are about the true art of healing. A lot of them, because they're indoctrinated in a system that don't really give a about people. So it's like they take on that energy as well. So you had to heal because there were a lot of energies that were being imposed upon you, okay, that were presented as blockages. They had to block that energy of healing on you to so that their power can be augmented. And because the more their power is augmented, the less you're able to like unblock your stuff and get into your power. This is making sense to me. I'm hoping it's making sense to y'all. It's making spiritual sense. Because part of healing is about unblocking energy. It's dealing with energy. Like it's challenging for you to be a healer if you don't understand the importance of energy. How important energy is to your gift of healing. So there had to be a lot of clearing, a lot of stuff that is removed, all right? And for many of you, that looked like people coming in and out of your life. For some of you, that meant, certain mindsets, that existed, that had to go. For some of you, that means that, okay, you used to live this place, now you get to live this place because whatever old place you were at, it was filled with like really low vibrational types of energies, and you really couldn't rise in your power if you had all these energies literally keeping you stuck. So it shows up in many different ways, all right? Yet the most powerful way that I'm seeing that you were kept from coming into your power is up here. They had to convince you first and foremost that you didn't know nothing about healing. They had to convince you that healers don't look like you. Oh no, a healer can't be, a brown skin, caramel complexion, chocolate complexion, young woman. They had to convince you of that. They had to convince you that a healer does not look like you, honey. All them naturopaths, anything that is connected to nature, they try to convince you it didn't even look like you. When you are a child of Mother Nature, you are a reflection of Mother Nature. Yet they try to convince you that healers don't look like you. They try to convince you because of your age, because of your complexion, because you didn't come from this, because you didn't have the economic background. You couldn't be a healer. How much does it cost to go through medical school? Talk about barriers. They place so many barriers upon you to keep you from being the healer that you are. If you were going to try to count how many barriers, you wouldn't even be able to count. Now, many of you, what happened is you removed the barrier up here first and foremost. Because of your connection with nature, because of your connection with spirit, you received the downloads that convinced you, that reminded you of the healer that you are, of the healer that you were born to be, of the healer, of the healing gift that you have. So removing those blockages was powerful, y'all. Don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate this awakening that took place up here. Because for many of you, that's where like the majority of the work was. It was up here. You were keeping yourself like in chains up here. Without even, some of you, it's without even knowing. It was subconscious. Them, try to convince you that they don't look like you. And along your path, you had a lot of haters that saw that you were, that saw this powerful healing gift in you. You know who are your haters? Them fake ones. Okay? Them fake ones out there that proclaim, on paper, or that have a facade that they're healers when they know their soul is putrid. Yes, I did say the word putrid. Y'all ever met some folks out there that say that they're doctors, or, they're high priests and high priestesses, and they supposedly heal people, and their energy is so nasty? Y'all met those folks? And something in you was just like, wait a minute. If healing looks like that, who wants that? Ain't nobody want to be a high priest, high priestess with that nasty energy. Ain't nobody want to be a doctor or nurse or this, that, and the third with that nasty energy. No, you not a healer. And many of you had the eyes and intuitive know-how to be able to pinpoint those fake ones. Them fake ones that reside in those institutions made for the fake ones. Those institutions, okay, are made for the fake ones. So if you don't work for those institutions, don't fret. It's because your energy is an energy of light. You couldn't stand to be in one of those institutions. And many of you knew this. Like, it didn't faze you that that you knew that you were a healer, yet you didn't get accepted into their circle. You didn't want to be accepted into their nasty ass circle anyway. Excuse the French. Because why? Because you saw their energy. A true healer, okay? A real one recognizes what they say, real recognizes real. A real one recognizes another real one. And many of you have the intuitive know-how to be able to pinpoint those fake ones out. Man, I've met some doctors, nurses, or high priestess. Yeah, they call themselves healers too, whose energy was so nasty. Like, who told you? Wait, I saw this comedian one time. It was like, who raised you? This comedian was like, this person's going around, this person going around talking about they high priestess this, or they doctor this, they nurse this. Who raised you? It sure enough wasn't something that you got from spirit, wherever you got your credentials from. Okay, you might want to go back and ask them some questions, because if your energy is that putrid and you're supposed to be healing people, yeah, you might want to check yourself. So this is for those who know that there are healers out there. You know that you are a healer. You do not need the credentials. You do not need the validation from them fake ones out there. Okay? The ones, them fake ones that didn't want to give you their credentials anyway. Because they're like, wait a minute, we can't give her those credentials. Some of you probably have those credentials, but you're not using it. Ooh. Why? Because you know the truth. They didn't want you to get those credentials because they like, wait a minute, we can't let this one into our circle because this one's a real one. This one's actually going to expose us. They don't like that. So, healer, I am speaking to you. You who know you are a healer and you've dealt with that system. That's been literally it's been a system of death care, not a system of health care. You've dealt with that. You've dealt with that on so many different levels. I've dealt with it on a personal level. I dealt with it with my father, who during his period of transition, I fought tooth and nail. He came to me before he transitioned. He came to me to receive care. And that's exactly what I did. I fought tooth and nail against a system that was supposed to be giving him the care that he needed. And all I saw was, I don't give a F. we want him to transition instead of giving him life because it's better for us. It's better for us costly. If he's not here, it's better for us. If he's not in the care of his family. I've dealt with it on a personal level. I fought tooth and nail for my father. Okay. And I do believe that he came to me before he transitioned. All right. And this was before I truly understood my power as a healer. Yet he did. There's a lot of stuff about me my father knew more than I did. The connection that I have with him is so much deeper on a spiritual level. It's more on a spiritual level than anything else. So part of my journey was it was crazy, y'all, because I was dealing with healing myself while working on keeping, my father alive. And it was a fight. It was such a fight. Because every single aspect of that system, regardless of what kind of care he was receiving, there was none of it that screamed to me, I want to give him life. It was more so, it's better for us if he is no longer receiving whatever benefits he was receiving, which was barely none. Everybody wanted a cut. Everybody wanted their piece. Everybody wanted to get paid. It wasn't about his care. It wasn't about his life. They were more concerned about they actually were more concerned, not concerned. They wanted him, to be unalive more than anything else. Yes, I do know this. I do know this. I've dealt with that system. That system that a lot of folks call healthcare. I've experienced it. I've seen it. It's more of death care than anything. There's actually statistics on this, y'all. More people die in hospitals than they do outside of hospitals. During that whole COVID period, folks were disappearing. Folks were disappearing in hospitals. What were they doing with them? What were y'all doing with them? What were you doing with them? So that system that didn't want you to be in your power to know that you are a healer, there's a reason why they didn't want you to know and be in that power. Is because you being in your power, you being in your knowing means that they would be exposed. And I could tell y'all some stories about visiting my father during that whole pandemic period, y'all. I went into those hospitals at a time when they forbid everyone to come in because why? I knew that I could. I was very comfortable in my power to be able to do that. They scared everyone. It was like everyone was scared ishless. They didn't want to go into the hospitals. Wait, but you mean that my father is in a hospital and I'm not going to go in there? No, I went in there. And the stuff that I saw, y'all, the stuff that I saw would make you sick. It would make you sick. So if I'm telling you that it's a system that promotes death care more than health care, there's some things. There's evidence of this. Okay? There's evidence of this. So be in your power, healer. Be in your power. Don't play small. Because whoever has operated that system of death care, that system of death care that they've been operating, they've operated for way too long. They've made you feel intimidated to not be in your power, to not use your knowledge of leaves. Made you think that unless you have their credentials, you're not supposed to be practicing your art of healing. You are a healer, and it is a gift that's been given to you by the divine and not by them. And trust me, you wouldn't want their stamp of approval anyway. Because their stamp of approval means that you would, we'll leave that alone. So rise in your power, healer. Okay, connect with that power that you have, that intuitive know-how to heal. Don't play small. Okay, don't play small. And make sure you question things. You're someone who knows how to question things. Okay? A lot of times what they do is there's an image of superiority that's projected by those who have been indoctrinated into their system of death care. I'm hearing that it is no, ooh, it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. I'm talking about you have folks that think that they could just press buttons and just like that. Like, these folks that are operating in the system of death care, like that superiority complex that they have, that energy. These are folks that operate very much like, they're operating under the same system. They operate very much like, these cops out here who are literally performing execution rituals on people of color. Don't think that that's, that, the law enforcement is the only place that's, doing these things. They're doing it in hospitals. They're doing it in hospitals. You got folks that literally like are in this superior complex and think that they could just press a button and boop, boop, boop. That's it. Stay in your power, stay in your know-how, stay connected to your spirit guides, because that's where your power comes from. That's where your power comes from. All right? Stay in your power. Please don't play the ignorant game. Right now is not the time to do that. Like, be in your knowing, okay? Be in your knowing. Do your research, ask questions. Okay? If you have loved ones that are like in the hospital, that get what do they call it? That get admitted, and I think that's even a funny word, that get admitted. So-and-so was admitted into the hospital. What? They were admitted into... What kind of, application did they have to fill to be admitted? So what I was going to say is, like, pay close attention to your loved ones, especially, when they go into these institutions, when they get admitted into these institutions. All right. Because the less they see that they have people that care about them, the more these folks think that they can do. Like, they basically use them as experiments. My father was being experimented on. I can tell you stories after stories of these systems experimenting on people that they think don't have loved ones that care for them. I could tell you stories. This is not just me babbling. I have experience with this. I have a father who went through this. This is a man that okay. Pay attention to your loved ones when they get admitted to these, institutions, y'all. These institutions they call, healing institutions. A lot of them are not about healing. They're more about, augmenting and praising the energy of death. They literally perform rituals on these, so-called patients. How do I know this? All right. Like, it is not a time to be operating in ignorance. It is a time to be operating in your power, in your intuitive know-how. Okay? It is a time to operate in your intuitive know-how. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer out there because I know it's some troublemaking folks out there that's going to say, oh, I heard from Messages from the Waters that she said that I ain't supposed to go, to the hospital when I have this, Y, and the third. Now, use your wisdom. Okay? All right, that's my disclaimer, because I know we live in a culture that's just, you got to put the disclaimer out there, or it's some crazy ass, folk that's going to be like, ooh, she said this, let's get her, let's get her, let's get her. I know y'all. Okay. So I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. Use your wisdom. Use your intuitive know-how. Okay. I am not your boss. I am not your this. Okay. Folks always want to be saying, oh, but I listened to her. Da, 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 da. They always want to, all of a sudden they start taking your advice, when they want to get you, when they want to get you in trouble, when they want to do whatever they want to do. Use your wisdom. Okay. Use your wisdom. Use your wisdom. And don't, can't nobody take responsibility for you more than you can take responsibility for yourself. Okay, be accountable for you. Be accountable for your health. Use wisdom when you're operating in any kind of system. All right? Because we folks out here just operating and just doing things like all willy-nilly, like, oh, they said to take this. Okay, well, wait, what do you mean? Use my wisdom. They wearing the white coat. Okay, this person has the MD after their name. What do you mean? They know better than me, do they? Who knows better than you? Okay, it's just a question. I'm not telling you to do nothing before y'all, start getting in your stuff. No one knows you better than you. This right here that you've been given, that houses the spirit within, no one knows it better than you. No one knows it better than you. You mean to tell me if you ate if you ate a bowl of chili the night before, and then you talking about, okay, you went into the hospital, and then they, you telling them you have a stomach ache, they gonna be able to tell that you ate a bowl of chili that night before if you didn't tell them? So you mean to tell me you can't figure out that stomach ache came from eating that bowl of chili at 1 a.m.? I'm just cracking jokes, y'all. The point is, you know what you do on a daily basis. You know what you eat. You know what you drink. And so part of it is you get to become a lot more conscious about what you do, what you put in your body, the words that you speak. All of those are connected to your health. All of those are connected to your healing. Right? Remember how we're talking about, okay, you as a healer, you had to become connected. You had to be centered. You had to be in your know-how for you to be in that power and say, oh, I'm a healer. Well, you had to go through that. There's an awareness that had to take place. Remember, we were saying it's all up here. So you can't tell me you're a healer if you're not. Okay, how could you be healing? How could you be practicing the art of healing if you ain't woke, if you ain't awake yet? They tell you what to do. You're not allowed to use your intuition. Someone tells you whether this person is worthy of living or not. I'm talking about them folks that are, practicing is part of that institution. Now, I'm going to say this again, y'all. It's not everybody, okay? It's not everybody that's been indoctrinated by their system that's operating in that low vibrational state. But I am going to tell you this, it is hard. It's not easy. There's some warriors out there, okay? There's some warriors out there that has those credentials. Yet they will tell you how much of a challenge it is to heal, to be in the business of healing when they have those credentials behind their names, because they are expected to perform. They are expected to uphold a certain quota, a certain agenda, a certain oath that they make. So it is challenging. Yet I'm not saying that there are folks that are not out there that are about the business of healing. So I want to make sure I'm clear about that. There are a lot of, these healer warriors out there that are about the business of healing that have gotten those credentials. Yet I'm going to tell you, it's a challenge because they're operating in a system that they intuitively know is not right. That they intuitively know is not truly about the person. It's about, okay? So, healers, continue to heal. All right? Continue to heal. Continue to be in the business of healing. And those of you who have people that you are, that are in your energy, that are battling, okay, whatever it is that they're battling. Some of that is spiritual, some of that is physical. Many of you as healers, like part of your journey is to deal with, like you've either dealt with or you're dealing with people in your energies that are exuding like energies of like physical illness, mental illness, and some of you continue to deal with that. Just know that those energies were put in your path because your spirit guides knew that you could deal with it. Yet the very first thing that is going to allow you to deal with those energies is to make sure that you are centered, that you are receiving the nourishment, okay? And nourishment that is physical, mental, spiritual nourishment that is necessary, because you're not going to be useful to anyone else unless you are centered, unless you continually work on your healing. It's a journey. It's not something that you just read one book and you good. It's not just something that, you burn some incense and you good. It's not something that you just take a spiritual bath and you good. Like, it is work. It takes work. Healers, it takes work. You consistently get to do that work in yourself, because like, think about it, especially dealing with energies like all the time that can, lower your frequency. You constantly get to work on yourself. And I'm talking about whether it's drinking a lot of water, taking spiritual baths, what else? I'm just going to give you guys just a couple of things that will help ground you. Walking barefoot in the earth, being careful, of course, where you walk. Okay. Like, be careful with that. Putting your hand in dirt, all of those things will ground you. Sunbathing, all those things will ground you. Eating, high frequency foods. It takes consistent work to be a healer. Because unless you are in that right kind of energy, how you going to heal somebody else? What are you going to have to give to them? Whoever it is that you're trying to heal. And speaking of healing, I just received this. Many of you are coming into divine unions. Okay, and I'm getting this for whatever reason. This came out of nowhere. Many of you are coming into divine unions, all right, with your person. All right, you are going to be coming into these unions that was meant to be yours. Okay, and what this means is both you and your person have dealt with karmics. Karmics meaning people that came into each other's lives, whether it was you or your person. They came into your lives for a period of time to teach you a lesson, to teach them a lesson, and then go on their way. All right. So be mindful of that as you are coming into these unions, that you are, as well as your person, is still healing from a lot of these karmic situations. Like, you had karmics that literally knew that they were with people that was not supposed to be for them. There's a lot of karmic situations out there like that, karmic relationships where folks got into these unions, and you may have thought so too. You may have gotten into situations where that person was meant to be for you. When you awaken to that, you release the person. There are people out there who are very clear that that's not their person, and yet they stay in those situations because they're just, whatever it is that they think that they can gain from that. All right. So there's a certain level of patience that it requires, and most importantly, it requires that you consistently continue to do the work. All right. And I'm especially speaking to the ladies out there because, women, okay, my divine masculines and the divine feminines, this is right here what I'm about to say. It's for the feminines. The feminines have a tendency to give a lot of their energy because they're nurturers. They tend to give a lot of their energies to their partner, especially when they meet someone that they feel is their person. Feminines, this is for you. Please remember this. Do not ever forget yourself in a relationship. Okay? And by now, I feel like many of you have learned your lesson. You've learned the lessons to where you know that if you're not right, the relationship is not going to be right. Do not forget yourself in those relationships. In fact, I'm going to say this. It is you focusing on loving yourself, actually. For many of you that may not remember what it's truly about, it's you loving on yourself that's actually going to attract your person to you. Because that energy and frequency that you give to yourself, whoever is coming into your energy, they're going to see that automatically. They're going to see that, okay, you're someone that's worth loving. Like that's going to attract that person towards you. So once you get in that relationship, feminines, it's essential that you don't forget to continue to love on you. All right. It's essential that you don't forget to love on you, because you loving on you, literally what that does, it's like, it elevates all aspects of your feminine energy, and it makes you that much more attractive. It makes you that much more powerful. And the person that you're with is going to feel and sense that. Now, if they don't feel and sense that, okay, that doesn't mean that, well, I'm going to say this. Your person's going to know. Okay. Okay, your person's going to know. Y'all going to know y'all for each other. All right. And they're going to elevate that self-love that you have for you. It's like they're going to want you to continue to love on yourself. Like the person that's for you is not going to ask you to stop loving on you and love on them. Okay? They're not going to do that. They're not going to ask you to stop loving on you so you could love on them, because this is you're dealing with someone who's an elevated being here. All right? These new relationships y'all about to get into are next level type stuff. This is not child's play. You dealing with folks who may still have like their issues that they're working on, yet spiritually, these are elevated beings, both you, okay? The divine masculine and the divine feminine. You both are elevated beings. So when you come together, you're going to be able to heal each other. There's going to be healing on a whole different level, because this is someone that's going to acknowledge your power and your ability to heal yourself while they're in their power, and both of you being in your power is going to make each other that much more powerful, and you're going to be healing each other in those connections. Okay. So I'm excited for y'all, because the energy of these divine unions have been coming up a lot, like regardless of what it is that we're talking about, whether we're talking about healing or this and that, like something is always like, oh, okay, don't forget to tell them about this. It's almost like there's this voice that's like, don't forget, your divine connection is coming. All right, don't forget, it's coming. Some of y'all are like, how could I forget? Spirit is just like constantly so a lot of you are dreaming about these people. They're constantly in your energy. It's almost like y'all communicating on a it's like y'all communicating on some other level. It's some next level type ish going on here. This is some serious stuff, y'all. Okay, so you get into your divine union is so special, because you're someone that I feel like I'm getting save the best for last. Okay. I feel like your spirit guides saved the best for last. And it's not that you're last. Not by a long shot. I'm getting more so like this is going to be the last relationship, okay, that you will ever have to jump into. This is your person. This is stability. This is divine union. This is divine purpose, divine healing. This is it for you. So part of this healing energy, I feel like it's important also for these divine unions coming together, because your healing gift is important. It's going to prove itself to be important in this union that you're going to come into. Some of y'all, you swore you were dealing with your person previously until you're like, oh, goodness gracious. And then your spirit guides are like, but you see that one right there? That one? Yeah, that one did that. That one's it. Well, how do you know, spirit? Because I thought the last one was, how do you know? Because you're different. There's a lot of ish that y'all not tolerating at this time. Isn't it beautiful that you can know that your stability is coming because of the work that you've done within? Isn't it beautiful? Like, isn't it beautiful how you can have a certain level of certainty in what is coming for you because you have now gained the awareness and knowledge that's made you grounded, and you're able to walk in that power. So this is how you're able to know that, listen, I just know the person coming towards me is my person. Many of you know this. The person coming, some of you have an idea. You've seen that person in dreams. That person's communicating with you, on the divine line. I like that divine line. Y'all been communicating on that divine line with your person. They're sending you hints, and they're sending you like messages in the spirit realm, telling you, okay, honey, we haven't met yet. These are the things I'm going to be doing for you. This is how it's going to work out. Y'all receiving that divine communication, dreams and all that. Scorpio Siobhan, you said I was tricked. Trust me. Listen, a lot of us were tricked. I'm telling y'all, some of these karmics, like these karmic relationships, like I swear wait, am I supposed to swear? No. Some of these folks, it's like they knew that you were meant to be in a divine union, and here they come, they come on your path and they like, bloop, let me see if I can block that. Let me see if I can block that divine union, because whatever energy this person has, I want it. It was about your energy. It's like they were like, feeding off of your energy, because your energy is pure. Your energy is of light. And it's like, as soon as they found out that they couldn't take of your energy and you were keeping it for yourself, things became a little different. Yeah, they have tricks up their sleeve. So, so some of you know that this next relationship is the only one that's ever mattered for you. You know this. And what's beautiful about it is that because of the skills that you've gained from working on yourself, from being in your awareness, you're not going to jump into this that quickly. I have a feeling that many of you have learned your lesson from these previous karmic relationships. You're like, oh, no. I learned my lesson from that last one. We're not going to jump in too quickly. Okay, I have a list. Okay, I have a list of X, Y, and Z. And, in this time, most importantly, I am going to consult with my spiritual team before I even allow you to be in my physical space like that. Many of you, that's what's happening. You may not know this, and your spirit guides are literally showing you who your person is in the spirit realm. All right? Your spirit guides are showing you who this person is in your spirit realm, in the spirit realm, And when you meet that person, it's not going to be, some of you have already met that person. So this is, for some of you, it is when you come together. There's going to be no, what is the saying? There's going to be no shadow of a doubt. Is that the right saying? That this is the person. Why? Because the spirit's already, you know what spirit is doing? Spirit is like, okay, let's remove the layers. Okay. All right. You need to know this about this person. All right. Okay. Now you have clarity about this. Okay. Is this someone that's a provider? Mm-hmm. Is this woman, going to be a woman that's going to be there for me for real, for real? Some of you masculines, okay, you're like, yeah, check. Your spirit guides are removing a lot of stuff. It's really more so revealing a lot of stuff, peeling the layers spiritually to let you know who your person is. And when you meet them, and again, I'm not getting that for some of you, this is for the first time. This is more like, for some of you, this is a reunion. It's going to feel like a reunion. I'm not getting this is a karmic that you've dealt with. Reunion in a sense like, oh my goodness, like our souls knew each other before. That's what I'm getting. Like your souls are literally communicating right now on a spiritual level. And so when you meet, okay, that's what that was. When you meet in the physical, because your souls and your spirits are communicating right now. When you see each other, when you come together on the physical level, it's going to be like, okay, we talked about this, but we actually never talked about it in the physical. It's going to be like a love language that just like, it works. It makes sense because the spiritual aspect of it is going to take precedence over everything else. Okay? Over everything else. It's like those two souls that have always known each other for so many different lifetimes are now uniting. That's what I'm getting. Like you're uniting or reuniting, and it feels so good. So yeah, so that's the case for many of you. Patricia, you said I'm already ready. You sure you ready? How you know? Oh, wait, don't answer that question. Listen, I respect it. Yeah, I respect it. And I feel you. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, so all right, get ready to get into these healing. First and foremost, continue to heal yourself. Be in your power as a healer, because part of you being in your power as a healer, like I feel like there's something about you as a healer that's going to help your person heal something. Okay? There's something significant. Many of you who are healers, all right? This is not just about you being your power. This is about you helping or supporting your divine counterpart, your person, to heal through their stuff. All right, that's what I'm getting with this healing energy. So be in that power. All right, because as you continue to heal, you literally are pulling the energy of your person in. It's almost like something's like, yeah, this is where, this is where my healing, is going to be augmented. This is where I'm going to be in your power. So that energy, of you being your power is actually wheeling your person in. I'm not sure if that's the right language. That's what I'm getting. Some of y'all may not agree with that energy, but that's what I'm getting. Maybe you want to use the word attracting, okay? Because we ain't trying to wheel nobody in. Or maybe some of you are. Some of you maybe try to wheel somebody in. You're like, come on. Most of you, what I'm getting though is like, you like, I ain't trying to wheel nobody in. It's either they want this or they don't want it. And it's not going to be a fight, this, that, and the third. No, I'm not in the business of trying to convince you to like me, to be with me. Some of you are in that energy. I already feel it. Like you're like, listen, okay. You gotta know if you got a good thing, that it's not something that you gotta force. All right. And both of y'all are not going to force anything. Just know this, like, what's already been, okay, this relationship existed lifetimes and lifetimes before. All right, this union that you are reuniting with, it existed lifetimes after lifetimes before. For many of you, your souls made a contract to come back and do something that perhaps you didn't get to accomplish with this person. This is why I'm telling y'all met before. Okay, you've known each other before. And whatever it was that kept y'all from seeing each other or being together, you know, to what feels like so late, just know that it's not late. Okay, it's about divine timing. It was supposed to happen right now, because in your healing journey, there were things that there's information that you were gathering up, because whatever your soul purpose is with that person, it needed that information that you went through, that you gathered through your experiences, to do what it gets to do in this divine union. For many of you, this healing journey that you went through is especially important for the divine union that you're coming into. All right. Okay, so that's it, y'all. I'm gonna stop here. 111. Hey, manifesting, new beginning. Ashe, ashe. All right, y'all. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Consider becoming a member. Much love, peace, and divine light, y'all. Thank you so much for joining the live. Oh no, you said it's a tiring thing mentally. Re-energize the healers. Trouble healing yourself. It helps finding a combined energy that actually intensifies both. They are very hard to find. We're speaking the positive into existence. Y'all are attracting those, okay? All right, so continue to attract, manifest all those wonderful, powerful energies of love, because it's abundant. Okay, Ashe, much love, peace, and divine light. Oh, for those who wanted a personal reading, you can contact me, messagesfromthewaters@gmail.com. Click join to become a member for free readings, so on and so forth. All right, y'all. Ashe, peace, love, divine light.